Hello, this is Adrien Gold, and I'm so happy to begin our journey through the kings I've won. I love this book. I wrote it actually. I wrote this book for me. I didn't want. I read so many books that, about the subject I cover, and they were very dry. There's nothing wrong with it. They delivered incredible amount of information, but they're very dry. As we begin the story of Alexander Hamilton, I was faced with a huge dilemma. There's been so much written about Alexander Hamilton. First and foremost, I have to give credit to Ron Chernow for his book on Alexander Hamilton. I mean, it's an easy book to listen to, but it's a huge, vast, enormous book. With a tremendous amount of information. So I would first recommend that book, but I also read many other books about him, and it took me months, I would say 8-9 months to decide how I was going to tell this story. I call him in my story, I call him the builder of nations, because there are certain quotes by some of his contemporaries that really make him to be who he is. It's one of the most important figures not in American history, but in the world at the time. Alexander was a very complex character. I like to show duality in my characters: the evil, the good, and the evil, the light and the dark. I really love. And I do, it's my belief that we are not all bad or all good. We are both. We are dealing with our struggles, whatever they are. So I wanted to present him as such. The facts are all true. We begin after the duel, when he's shot, and then we fall back to his youth. And now we see his entire life. And I pick certain events, not all, but certain events that I think are important, but they are told as he is basically leaving the body and moving on to the next realm. And I felt like, oh, this is a good vehicle for me to tell the story. And once I had this idea, this story was easy. I mean, when I say it was easy, I mean, this was a monumental amount of work for me to present this to you. The key is to lead me to telling you the story in a manner that I felt, okay, I can do this. I can present Hamilton in the way that I want. And so we see his failures and we see his successes. Mainly successes were creating this country of ours and its foundation. But also we see his failures, his crazy lust. We talk about his mother a little bit. And all these are presented, are facts that are true. Whether Alexander Hamilton's father was his real father, and as you read the story or you read the story, I share facts that would prove otherwise. And so I hope you enjoy this story. The reason why I think it's very powerful is because I think there's some kind of heroic presentation of this man, as we all do. Every hero has a little story, and which is my passion, finding the little story behind the big story. The Federal Reserve, for instance, is a great example, and when we get to it, you'll see why. But finding a tiny little event that I feel like, oh no. This tiny event is actually part of this huge story. In my view, Hamilton was fantastic. I think he was a builder of nations. Unlike George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, struggled, but he made himself who he was. But he was brilliant, a brilliant guy. Enormous failures. Anyway, I hope you like the story. For me, it is an important story. Once I found a way, starting at the end and backtracking, I was able to tell the story I wanted. And so I hope you enjoy it. It's a good lead to the rest of the book. Thank you for being here. The next story is about the War of 1812.